We turn our attention from Illinois over to Indiana, where they had a first-year head coach last year in Kevin Wilson. Interesting seeing with them, two quarterbacks transferred. Edward Wright Baker, gone. Dusty Keel, gone. Those guys had 7 starts out of last year. That leaves quarterback Trey Roberson as their only QB. Let's listen in Chicago to the Indiana head coach, Kevin Wilson.
Coach, if you'd like to start with an opening statement, and then we'll take questions.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, good to be here. Year 2. Again, of course, we know coming off a very disappointing record year, but I think we've made some really great strides even last season off the field, establishing our process, mindset, whatnot. I've had a good spring. Boatload, 110 kids were with us all summer, even more than our preseason limit we can bring in. So reporting Wednesday, ready to roll, and it's great to be back here for year 2. So we'll open it up.
Okay, we've got our first question coming over there by the wall.
Hey, Coach. All the stuff going with Penn State off the field, what do you have to look forward to when you guys square up on the gridiron later this season? What are your expectations?
For that game?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah, for that game. Just, ignoring everything that's going on off the field, by the time you guys play, that stuff will be behind everybody. But, just looking X's and O's, and what do you have to look forward to what Coach O'Brien's going to bring in?
Well, for us, that's game 11. And I'm excited about it. I had the opportunity 3 years at Northwestern and last year, but with the rotation of our league at the time, we didn't play everyone, and I only had the opportunity in 2001 to play against Penn State. My first 2 years we didn't, and they came to us. So I've never had the opportunity to go into that venue, and I know it's one of the great venues of college ball. So I look forward to our team, but that's so far down the road, and in our challenges in building, I haven't even studied that. We'll have plenty of time to see the schemes and the defenses that Coach Roof will bring in, that Ted will bring in, that Billy will employ with 10 previous games. So we just look, I know, to be a phenomenal opportunity for our men to go there. And our players a couple years ago actually played in Washington, D.C., so it's been a while since our football team's been there. So great venue, really got phenomenal fans, but it's a long way off for us. It's game 11. We got more important issues than that one.
No, I understand. And just one more question about that. What do you think Coach O'Brien's going to bring from his NFL and previous experience, and how do you think that'll look differently, and what do you think he's going to bring in?
Got a lot of respect for Bill. Had a chance to know him from young days when he was at Duke and Georgia Tech and his background there. But I had an opportunity a few years back. We visited when we were doing some pro visit camps and went up to New England. And at the time, I think it's just when Coach Weiss had left, and he was kind of the quarterback coach in waiting as they were going through. Wasn't quite the coordinator yet, but was very gracious with his time. I know he's got a phenomenal background. I know anyone working for Bill Belichick and that time is coming out of a great background, let alone the college coaches. So he's a phenomenal coach, and I'm sure he's going to do one phenomenal job for those guys. I got a lot of respect for Coach O'Brien as a man and as a football coach.
Coach, we're going to go over here to the left in the middle.
Coach, you've talked about how IU has been down 1 or 2 possessions, and the game will quickly go to IU being down 3, 4, or 5 possessions. What have you worked on the defensive side to kind of fix that problem?
One more time with that at the start, I'm sorry?
We've talked about how IU has been down 1 or 2 possessions on the defensive side, and the game will quickly go to 3, 4, or 5 possessions down for IU. What have you kind of worked on this offseason to kind of fix that problem?
Well, again, making some strides. We did address some recruiting issues with 6 junior college players that we've got set to come in. They've been a part of our spring practices and been with us through summer. So hopefully some maturity is going to help us with that. Year 2 of schematics, understanding some schemes, and coaches adjusting some schemes, adapting to players and what they can and can't do and whatnot. Defensively, we got to get to be a point as a team where instead of attacking the whole thing, certain things we need to be a little bit better at. One of those needs to be better at third down stops. So when we do get a team on schedule, there's a number of games last year where we had a team on schedule and a very manageable 3rd and long that we gave up, that we worked very, very hard in spring to understand the concepts of what we're trying to do and the type of routes and the schemes that offenses will do in situations to, in a basketball game, get some stops. I think we're going to be a lot better on defense, but we're not at a point physically and in year 2 to play lights out great defense. We got to score a lot more points too. Everybody talks about our D struggling. We average 18.1 points. That's as poor of offense as I've been around since 1999. So we need to score points because that will help our defense. We move the ball offensively. I think 59% of the time when we got to the 40-yard line, we scored points. So basically 3 out of 5 times we scored points at the 40-yard line when you're getting into that fringe score area. So scoring points is going to be critical for our football team success to complement the defense. And I think third down stops, because we're not going to play great defense yet, but we got to get some stops to keep the game manageable and give us a chance to start getting the W's in Big Ten play.
Okay, we've got a question to the left first and then back in the right second.
Coach, you gave up over 240 yards a game against the run on defense last year. Has that been a focal point during your off-season preparations for this year? And what needs to change to be more successful against the run?
We got to be a lot better than that. We were one of the few teams in the nation that gave up more rush yards than pass yards. And when a team can run the ball, when coaches talk about balance, they're not talking 50-50 to me. They're talking the ability to establish a run game. Or if you're a true option team, you can make some passes. In our world, we've got to get a team playing one-handed. So last year, our inability to play defense in the run game allowed our defense to play as poorly as it did. Again, junior college players, a couple linebackers we're impressed with, 3 guys in the secondary at defensive end, a bunch of young players that are back, 3 defensive tackles, seniors. You know, we've only got 5 scholarship seniors. We have 8 total. 3 came to Indiana as walk-ons. We have 5 scholarship seniors, 3 in the defensive interior. So that D tackle spot better be pretty solid, a lot more play on the edge. And with those JC players at backer and in the secondary, we need to be a lot better. So we got to play 11 defense, get 11 guys getting hats to the ball, team defense. Still, whether we're stopping the run, whatever, third down stops, creating some turnovers, getting the ball back for the offense is what we focused on more than just stopping the run.
Okay, back in the far right.
Hey, Coach. Sorry. Speaking of offense, at this point now, is Trey Roberson a lock at quarterback, or will he have a little bit of a battle between Cam Kaufman as well?
It's a great question, and we're also excited about Nate Sudfeld, a freshman he actually graduated early, would have been through spring ball, but with the recruiting change, he backed out of a commitment. Instead of enrolling into school in January, Nate went through a process. He was a highly touted kid, and he showed up for May. We started our summer school in June, but he went through a May session with us, so he's got 3 months. So I'd like to think he's going to be a smidge in our mix. When you're a 1-11 football team, there's no job safe. There's nothing etched in stone. So if you've started, if you've played, we played a lot of guys looking for combinations. I think with a lot of those guys playing, that increased our work habits, and we've had a great off season. And we're not going to have a quarterback threat or a quarterback competition. But when you're a 1-11 football team, you're trying to change the culture and build a winning program at a great school and a great institution, you got to earn it every day. And we're going to put a lot. I'll say this, the conversation to Trey Roberson and the conversation to every quarterback, we are not going to be a good team in the Big Ten with average quarterback play. That is a fact. We better be one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and we better play at a high end if we expect to win and start playing quality Big Ten football. So Trey's been challenged. We're excited about Cam. We'll see what Nate Sudfeld does as well. Those are the 3 guys with a couple young walk-ons, but those are the 3 men that will play the position for us this year.
Okay, over here to the left, and then we'll head to the right.
With the Penn State scandal, of course, of the last several months and the NCAA sanctions, coaches from this conference and throughout the country have been asked for their take on it, and some of them have gotten some public criticism because of their comments. And for you and your media relations staff, is it something that you guys have kind of prepared to be ready for and had to be really careful about saying the right things, given the inevitability of being asked about Penn State all the time?
Well, in my position, and again, it's gotten so much news and coverage, notoriety. But in my position, with where we are as a program and in our issues building our football team, to have thoughts on other teams and public thoughts, I don't think are well worth it. I always like it when one of you guys say off the record, because if I say it, it's not off the record. So I always tune it out when I get the, hey, coach, off the record, how was your summer? How was your golf game? I kind of tune that conversation out immediately. I also kind of laugh when I read the comments that coaches make in the preseason magazines about other schools. I know what my school's like at my school. I know what that other team's like when I watch that tape, and that's all I know about those other schools. I don't know their education backgrounds. I don't know their social life. I don't know their dorm. And I've always predicated myself on immersing myself with our situation and making our program better. So no disrespect, Penn State is a phenomenal school. It's one of our great institutions and what I think is one of the great premier leagues of college football, college sports. I know as a conference we're going to support those guys and keep all those players, families, and people in the community in our thoughts and prayers. But it's not that I don't have no comment as much as I'm addressing Indiana football and letting you guys do all the talk about everyone else.
Okay, over here to the right in the middle.
Kevin, we've heard a variety of opinions from some of your peers regarding recruiting Penn State players. What's your stance on that? Do you have a problem with that philosophy?
You know, we all got the rules and the guidelines. The one, I don't know if anyone said this, the one rule I don't understand is how I can oversign and some team have more than 85 guys on scholarship and other teams don't have that right. That's a competitive advantage to another school. So I don't understand how someone can go past 85. If I go past an initial and take it back, but if I'm walking into an arena and I've got 85 on Grant and somebody's got 87, I don't know if that's fair. I want to be fair to those kids if they want it. As far as reaching out, I see it as a kid wanting to transfer. If that kid wants to transfer, he'll contact you. I don't feel like contacting those guys. We're working on our program, our team. We have not studied tape or talked about guys to this date. We've talked only about getting ready for preseason next week. If someone's interested, and by rule, then I think that's a kid wanting to transfer, and I've been taking that stance more than let's go recruit those guys.
Okay, we've got a question over here to the left.
Stand up so you can see me. Coach, off the record, of course, what's your team's goals coming into this season? What's your team's goals coming into this season?
Realistically, and again, I don't have a long-term, short-term year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but where we are year 1, I will say this, the record is not near what it can be, should be, and I'm personally embarrassed. And if we're going to win this year significantly and make strides, the first thing happens is I have to coach and our coaches have to coach better. I said a year ago, you know, we've got some talent that can be okay. It's getting the attitude right. And it's the abilities of the coaches to reach and understand our talent, make some adjustments. So key thing, I think it starts with me. And we've done a great job as coaches addressing us and Desmond, the things we need to do, okay? And what I can do better to communicate, to team lead, to team build, to get that thing going. Schedule sets up. You know, we play the conference games as always. The non-league sets up with the break after 3 games. We're going to make some strides. Even though the record is not what we want, I don't regret one day of preparation and the foundation we've laid. And I promise you, we have worked like a team that's not 1-11 the Monday after the last game, last of November, 1st of December. We've worked at it hard. We've worked at it positively. When you talk to our 3 men that are here that I'm proud to be with today, you will hear men talking that's not sounding like coming off a team where it is. We're excited where we're going, and I think we've laid a solid foundation, and I think we're going to be pretty competitive this year. I've never said we're going to win X games and beat X team. We're going to play some Big Ten football at a significantly better level this year. That's the expectation, and I believe we're going to see that.
Coach, our next question is in the far right back corner.
Coach, you talk about attitude on the team. With good attitude comes responsibility from good leaders. Talk about a couple leaders on the team, particularly Kofi Hughes, and what their leadership and attitude will bring both to the team on and off the field.
We've worked hard and worked with a group that helped us on leadership building. And the thing I got from a group, I think it's been better for our coaches than the players. And how to develop leadership as you go through your off-season, spring, summer programs. We targeted 12 guys. We targeted young guys, old guys, so we don't want to wait till a guy graduates and say, now you're a leader, to teach some leadership. So we've got a lot more. You mentioned one name. Very impressed, even though we don't have a lot of seniors, 4 of our seniors in particular, the 3D linemen, Larry Black, Adam Raplogel, both of those young men are here. Nick Sliger has done a phenomenal job. And Will Maddie, our senior center, might be our strongest, best leader. Some of the younger guys, I've been very impressed with what we're getting out of Kenny Mullen. Been very impressed with what we're getting out of Trey Roberson, and we've gotten some great things out of Ted Bolzer. So we haven't targeted 1 or 2. We actually targeted 12 guys as leaders. We targeted 12 guys as second in command to get a core group, because I don't think we have one person strong enough to lead our team to victory. So we've tried to develop a core guys, and if we've done one thing as coaches better, we've addressed that, because last year in change and in moving and schematics, we taught football. I think this year we talked a heck of a lot more about how to lead, how to work, how to act, how to Twitter, how to put things out that winners and Big Ten players put out.
Okay, our final question is going to come over there to the left.
Coach, you said you would only recruit Penn State players if one reached out to you. Just by chance, have any reached out to you? Have anybody come to you?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
All right, thanks for your time, Coach.
Appreciate being here.
Appreciate it.